Aren't you better yet? This is one of the most frustrating questions a stroke survivor can hear. So whether you are a stroke survivor yourself, or perhaps someone shared this video with you to help you understand, we're going to talk about what better actually looks like in stroke recovery. Let's get into it. Understanding stroke recovery. Firstly, it's important to understand that recovering from a stroke is not like recovering from a purely physical injury like a broken leg. A stroke is a neurological injury that affects the brain and the nerves. And as a result, it can look like someone has purely physical injuries like muscle weakness on one side of the body, trouble with speech, or difficulty moving around. However, those physical issues stem from the fact that a part of the brain has been injured during the stroke. And brain injuries take much more time to heal and heal very differently than a broken leg. Progress, slow and steady. While there is usually quicker progress in the first 3 to 6 months, and you can check out this video to understand why, progress usually slows down after that. Now, this doesn't mean that progress stops. With continued effort and perseverance, you can continue to make progress at a slow and steady rate. For example, someone who has difficulty speaking may gradually be able to communicate more effectively. Or another example, someone who has difficulty using their affected arm may gradually regain some strength and movement, which could lead them to be able to do more on their own. But it's important to understand that recovery can also be unpredictable, and it's common for people to experience plateaus and setbacks where progress seems to stop. And while it's difficult to accept, this is a normal part of the recovery process. Sometimes it just takes trying something new to shake your body and your brain out of that plateau. And it's also necessary to understand that some abilities may not fully return. And I don't say this to be disheartening. In fact, you can't know how much progress you might make unless you try. But it is important to recognize so that you can get the help you need, or if you're a caregiver, that you realize your loved one may need continued help with certain things. Dealing with impatience. So this issue hits hard on 2 different levels, and the first is as the person who has experienced a stroke. I can't tell you how often I've said to people that I've worked with that having patience with your brain and your body as you heal is one of the most difficult things about recovery and rehab. If you weren't a patient person prior to having your stroke, you likely are having to learn this skill throughout your journey. And the second level is dealing with loved ones who expect a quick recovery. Now, it's natural for people to want to see their loved ones get better. But it's important to remember that stroke recovery is a complex and individual process. And if you want to learn more about why that is, I recommend you check out this video that I'm linking above. But if you are a loved one of a stroke survivor who was told to watch this video, please take heed. The mental and physical aspects of recovery are already hard enough without people placing unrealistic progress expectations on a survivor. How to practice patience. If you're a survivor, one of the best things that you can do to practice your patience is to look back at your victories. Keeping track of what you can do now versus what you could do right after your stroke will show you that no matter how slow, progress is happening. It can help you to stay motivated on your recovery journey. And you can do this by physically writing your victories down in a journal, or perhaps listing your wins out in a notes app on your phone. You can even dictate those if handwriting is difficult. And if you're a caregiver, the best thing that you can do is educate yourself on the stroke recovery process. What is actually happening in the brain and the body? And how can you both support your loved one and also take care of yourself? Because being a caregiver isn't easy. As I mentioned before, keep in mind that stroke recovery can be slow after that initial 3 to 6 months. It's still happening, just at a slower rate. This can help you have more realistic expectations when it comes to your loved one's progress. It may be that you need to sit down and have an honest and open conversation. It's a fine line to balance between understanding what your loved one might need help with and also trying to motivate them to do more or try more for themselves. In that conversation, you both should share how you're feeling and perhaps brainstorm some ways that you all can work together to support each other. As with most things in life, understanding and empathy can go a long way. All right, everyone, that's it for today. If you feel comfortable sharing, leave me a comment below. Has anyone ever asked you that question before, and how did you deal with it? As always, I'm going to be leaving a link in the description below if you'd like to sign up for the email list, which gets you free stroke recovery tips and motivational emails every week, as well as a free copy of my ebook, The Stroke Recovery Pocket Guide. And if you find value in what we do here at Post Stroke and you're able, please consider donating, either by giving us a super thanks by clicking in the YouTube bar below, by donating once via PayPal, or by becoming a Patreon member, where in exchange for a monthly donation, you get access to cool perks like social media shoutouts, behind the scenes footage, question and answer videos, as well as YouTube shoutouts, of which I have one today. A huge thank you again to Doug C. for continuing to contribute at the Empower level. We can't do what we do without you. Thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you next time.